All right, let's talk about something real. Today, we're basically tearing up the old rulebook on how to handle disrespect. Forget about being the bigger person or turning the other cheek. We're diving into a whole different philosophy, one that's a lot darker, way more strategic, and, let's be honest, brutally effective.
I want you to think about it for a second. Go back to that specific moment. You know the one, when you were talking and they just talked right over you. Or that time you were treated like a total afterthought, a backup plan. That sting you felt when you had to just laugh off a so-called joke at your expense just to keep things from getting awkward. Yeah, we've all been there.
And here's the really dangerous part. We tend to mislabel that feeling, right? We call it being sad or hurt, but it's not. It's a warning siren. It is literally the sound of your self-respect being choked out, screaming at you that whatever you're doing right now, it's not working. I mean, think about it. Since we were kids, what were we told? Be nice, help others, give respect to get respect. And you did all that, didn't you? You played by the rules, but what did you get back? Disrespect, being ignored, being taken for granted. That whole be kind formula has a huge, fatal flaw. It assumes everyone else is playing by the same rules, and they're not. This is where we need a major shift in perspective. Over 500 years ago, Machiavelli pointed out a cold, hard truth. Being loved is great, but kindness is often mistaken for weakness. He argued that if a leader has to choose between being loved and being feared, they must choose fear. Now, we're not talking about the fear of violence. We're talking about the fear of consequences, the fear of underestimating you. So how do we actually use this? Well, we're going to start with our first set of rules. Think of these as your immediate defensive tactics to start taking back your power, right now.
Okay, so when someone disrespects you, your first instinct is to fire back, right? To have a clever comeback. But that is exactly what they want. They're baiting you. They don't want your time. They want your emotional energy. Reacting is like handing them a prize. But silence? Silence denies them everything. It creates this uncomfortable vacuum where they're just left alone with their own actions.
And if you think this is just some nice theory, look at this. This is a masterstroke from history. Back in 1502, Cesare Borgia, who was the main inspiration for Machiavelli, was betrayed by his own generals. They took his land, they turned on him. Any other ruler would have flipped out, declared war. Borgia? He did nothing. His silence was so complete, his enemies actually thought he was weak and defeated. So they let their guard down and walked right into his trap, a fake peace meeting where he had them all captured and executed. His silence made them miscalculate, and that was the end of them.
So silence is your first move, but if the disrespect keeps coming, you have to escalate. Your time, your attention, your loyalty, these are not freebies. Your presence in someone's life is a privilege, and when they disrespect you, that privilege is permanently revoked. No big dramatic speech, no long explanation, no second chances. You just cut them off.
You know, it's a really simple principle from economics. When something is always available, its value drops. When you are always there, always forgiving, you become cheap. But when they learn that one big mistake means they lose access to you forever, suddenly you become priceless. So stop announcing you're leaving. Just vanish from their life. Your absence is going to teach them a lesson your words never, ever could. Okay, so getting them out of your life was just the beginning. That was defense. Now we pivot. We're shifting from short-term tactics to a long-term strategy. This is about rewriting the rules of the game so they can never even get close enough to disrespect you again.
You've heard the saying, living well is the best revenge. Well, this takes it to another level. The absolute coldest form of revenge is achieving a level of success that makes them completely and utterly irrelevant. You need to take their disrespect and use it as rocket fuel. While they're busy gossiping, you're working. While they're plotting, you're building your empire.
Look, you'd basically have two choices here. You can get down in the mud and play their petty game, wasting all your time and energy. Or you can choose to elevate yourself to a level where their noise just can't reach you anymore. A smart ruler doesn't waste time on every little border skirmish. They build an impenetrable fortress. You need to do the same with your life. You know, a true master strategist almost never attacks head-on. They wait. They understand that an enemy who is blinded by their own ego and anger will eventually become their own downfall. People who constantly disrespect others, they're often deeply insecure, and that arrogance will always lead them to make a mistake. Your job is to just give them the stage and watch.
And this is how that tactic looks in real life. Picture this. They're getting loud, aggressive, losing their cool in public. And you
You stay calm. You stay composed. You remain dignified. The contrast between your behavior and theirs is deafening. Everybody watching will see exactly who the unhinged one is. The verdict will be delivered against them, and you won't have to say a single word.
This is so important. The truth isn't always what actually happened. It's what people believe happened. Machiavelli was a master of this. He knew that perception is reality. When someone disrespects you, they're trying to write a story where you're the weak one, the fool. Your job is to take the pen out of their hand and become the author of your own story.
And there's a three-step playbook for this. First, as we just talked about, absolute calmness. Your calm makes their anger look completely irrational. Second, you plant seeds. You don't argue, you just subtly ask questions or introduce ideas that make other people start to question their story. And third, the most powerful one, the power of contradiction. You build a reputation and a character so solid, so excellent, that when they try to lie about you, it just seems unbelievable. Your reality becomes stronger than their fiction.
So, controlling the story sets the stage for the final act. But the ultimate goal here isn't just to win the game. It's to rise so far above it that you're not even a player anymore. You become the board itself, a force of nature.
Think of reputation as the ultimate currency of power. A good one opens doors and gets you respect without you ever having to ask. Your goal here isn't to sling mud. That's what weak people do. No, your goal is to strategically let the truth of their character come to light. You just create the conditions for their own reputation to become their biggest problem.
And you do this through two main pillars. First, the mirror of contrast. Your integrity, your excellence, your dignity, it acts like a mirror that just highlights their lack of it. Second, strategic positioning. You build strong alliances with people they need or respect. When their own allies start valuing you more than them, their entire power structure just crumbles from the inside out.
And this brings us to the final and most powerful state of being. All the other rules, they were just tools to get you here. This isn't a tactic anymore. It's a new way of existing. It's what Machiavelli might have called achieving true self-sovereignty.
So, what does it really mean to be untouchable? It means when someone disrespects you, it doesn't trigger anything. Not anger, not sadness, not a desire for revenge. It's just data, a neutral event. Why? Because you've completely outgrown the need for anyone else's approval. Your peace is your own, and it's no longer in their hands to give or take away.
And that's really the heart of it all, isn't it? When you truly expect nothing from other people, no praise, no respect, no validation, you can't be manipulated. You can't be hurt by them. They have absolutely zero leverage over you. You are, for the first time, completely and totally free.
So, there you have it, the 7 weapons. The person who started this journey with me is not the same person who's here right now. You are more aware, more in control, and yes, more dangerous. So the final question isn't about what you're going to do. It's about who you are going to be. Because remember, respect is never given freely. It's commanded.